This is different. This is not the computer. This is not the railroad. This is society altering type stuff. And I'm not in the middle. I'm not on either extreme. Like, I don't think the world's going to end, but I'm definitely closer to this is like seriously scary stuff.
I'm center slash
That
end of humanity.
So I'm center slash end of humanity too, because, all right, so today, for example, and today doesn't really matter, but you talk about the paranoia, and I can only speak to the world that I live in. I see the train is fully full. The train station is full. You get there past 8:03. I can't park there. But I'm also seeing, job market, the labor market is okay. Employment is good. Unemployment is relatively low. There's not a lot of layoffs. However, there's definitely not a lot of hiring, and there's definitely not a lot of open jobs. So if you have a job right now, you're okay right now. But the labor market, especially for younger people, I don't know how this, like, why would it open up? Why would companies start hiring young people all of a sudden when they might not need to? And that is some really terrifying shit.
Here's Tim Higgins at the Journal. Silicon Valley is filled with all sorts of dreams, but one of those wild-eyed ideas, long debated on subreddits and in hacker houses, is becoming a real-life nightmare. Will the AI boom be the last chance to get rich before artificial intelligence makes money essentially worthless? Okay. The argument is that tech companies and their leaders will become a class unto their own.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments, back with another video. And my boy Josh Brown said a lot in that video. He gave a very concerning take, and I've been hearing a lot of people say these things, and I've personally been moving as if the things being said in that video are true, even though we slick hope they aren't. But we have to prepare. Basically, what's going on at this point, the AI is getting so good that it's replacing the need for a lot of entry-level tasks. Entry-level tasks and jobs are how people get into the corporate system to even work their way up the corporate ladder in the first place. So if AI is going to eliminate that, then how will people come up in society? If AI is doing your job and you get replaced and you can't get another job because AI is doing your job there too, you get knocked down to a lower class because of it, how do you come back up? And the reason I'm stressing to everybody that we need to learn AI now, we need to take advantage of AI now, because it's looking like we're in a very strange window right now. It's like the next 1 to 3 years is technically probably the easiest time, or going to be one of the easiest times to make money in history if you're involved in AI. But if you're not involved in AI, it's going to be extremely tough, and it's looking like after a few years it's going to fall off a cliff and you're going to be stuck. So with that being said, I look at it really simple. Like, even the bigger companies are experiencing these problems. If you've been watching the stock market recently, we've been having a sell-off in software. They lumped all of them in together. They even just gave us a crazy dip on Palantir because they got knocked down because of software problems that don't apply to their stock specifically, but since they're a software stock, they got lumped in. What's going on with a lot of software stocks is a lot of the vibe coding tools like the Claude Codes, the Cursors, probably even the Replets, and a lot of other vibe coding tools I've mentioned on this channel are giving people the ability to make their own software. And it's getting to the point where if you have a company where you're paying a monthly service fee for their software and you don't actually use the software heavy and they don't have like some sort of moat, people are just beginning to build their own versions. People are just beginning to build their own versions to avoid having to pay for these things. And now there's a risk that a lot of companies could technically just be vibe coded out of existence or get their market share vibe coded away. So the only moats in software now is if you have something deep like Palantir's Ontology, you've got access to data that people can't just vibe code up. But if the moat of your business is you knew how to code and you made an app and no one else know how to code and they don't have an app, you could get taken down at any time. And I'm looking at it different because you'll get Jensen Huang on stage. He'll say something like, the key is to look for the opportunity and the problems and solve the problems. And I'm starting to think that's like the PG-13 version. Like, they ain't gonna say it on TV, but I say it. I think what they saying is, hey, everybody know how to code, everybody know how to vibe code, everybody know how to code faster. If you already knew how to code, you need to take some down. It's just like the streets. Like, if you see a business that you feel like you can vibe code and customize and make money off of, you might want to do that, is basically what they're saying. Because for the first time in history, we're having big companies have their market share eaten up by smaller companies, most likely. And I don't even know what that'll lead to. Like, if a company, like, they're using Salesforce as an example, it's funny because I've said it, I've had my agent Pam say it, Salesforce was always a hit or miss. We were saying AI could either bring them up or take them down, and it's looking like they're on the bearish end of the distribution because a lot of people use Salesforce, but they're not using a large, like, they might be using 20 or 30% of the features and paying some large fee. So now people just want to vibe code their own. And over these next 1, 2, 3 years, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for things like that. So the reason I say we're in an era where you could make a lot of money over the next few years, but after that it's going to be over, is because right now we're in a weird gap where these tools exist, these capabilities exist, but people don't even realize the tools exist and the capabilities necessarily exist yet. A lot of people still think ChatGPT is simple. Like, they just talk to ChatGPT. They haven't experimented with any of the other AI tools. So there's a gold rush right now to make things with AI, build things with AI, make money with AI. But in 3, 4 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever time frame people are saying is going to happen, or it's going to get to the point where all these tools are mainstream and all these open opportunities are going to be sold up. So if you're someone who's coming in the game 4, 5, 6 years from now, it's going to be like your job might be here, might not, depending on what you're doing. Your wages could potentially be compressed. You could have been knocked out of class to a different class, like my boy who was MasterCard. Now he's driving for Uber Eats. And you're trying to build with AI, but at this point, the tools are so good and mainstream that everybody's doing it. It's like right now, understanding how to build things with AI is still kind of new. Like being able to build apps, being able to build computer programs, being able to build websites. The average person still doesn't know how to do that yet, so it's still a little rare. You still have opportunity, but in several years, that's not going to be the case no more. It's going to be like, you got an app, everybody got an app. Who cares? It's going to be just like someone wanted to be the next Casanet, or someone wanted to be the next Little Baby type thing. Maybe not that drastic, but it's going to be way more common. Like, don't quit your job type thing. So it's that, and it's the investing side. The same thing. You got these companies out here like Palantir, Nvidia. We've got these companies in the energy field. You've got companies like, which one is it right now? Not Bloom Energy and Oklo. It's ServiceNow, man, because they're looking like they're one of the only software stocks that's not getting hit up as hard by this thing that's going on with the vibe coding as well. But you're gonna have to invest in the stocks as well, because you need to be tied in with AI one way or another. Like, I've done some of the groundwork by buying all that Palantir early, so that helps a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But we need to buy more stocks. We need to be more tied in with this thing, because it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna be the only ones getting money. You see what I'm saying? Like, us as regular people, we need to just invest as hard as we can right now. Like, because we need to get with the times, get with the program, because we don't know what the future is necessarily going to hold. Like, our 5-10 year plans might have to change because of this. So I'm just, on this channel, letting everybody know what's going on in the stock market, letting everybody know what's going on in the AI market. Reacting to my boy Josh Brown, man. It's getting real out here. And for all my Palantir shareholders, we just beat earnings again. rule of 127 instead of 40. So, you know, we're going to talk about that in a video coming soon. But it's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments. I just want to see how y'all feel about this Josh Brown take. I'm going to see y'all in the next video.